from DAppNode. I know we've been doing a lot of testing. And then, just go through our sprint 11 priorities. I've kind of gone through here. Oh, did it not reflect my updates? That's weird. Let me refresh this. I've kind of taken the liberty of going through and seeing, oh man, I don't think it updated. That's really weird. Okay. Anyway, I guess I'm distracted by Notion being weird. I think I had made more updates to the agenda that somehow didn't save. And yeah, my other distraction is that I have a short torso and the baby is like starting to crowd my rib cage, which is a weird feeling. Okay, I will pass it to Ashley.
Hey guys, my intention for the call is just kind of see the progress of things, how we're moving through the sprint, maybe give some updates and just kind of check in and see where we're at. My distractions, the only thing I have that's a distraction is this cute little bunny that's trying to crawl up my leg and she wants me to pet her. So that's it, and I'll pass it to Griff.
Yeah, I'm very distracted for this call. I'm working on praise audits and can only really be here for the minimum possible. So I should really run, but happy to put in the moment for the check-in. And so I'm very distracted by trying to launch the TEC. But I definitely want to hear the latest from the DAppNode side. And anything else that's going on. And I will pass it to Lauren.
Hey guys, my intentions for this call are, we had a design meeting, I think, and we talked a little bit about Giveth stuff and airdroppy stuff, so we could have a little update about that, and also DAppNode stuff. I'm gonna focus my brain into this. I've been distracted by just my feelings. But I can just zoom in and then I'll be here and that's going to be fun. So I'll pass it back to you, Forrest.
Amazing, thank you. Just trying to pull up some of the things that I had in the agenda that didn't save and got kind of deleted. Okay, so maybe... So for DAppNode, the latest that I'm seeing in the DAppNode channel, we've been doing a bit of testing. Quite a few of us received a drop from DAppNode that we were able to, test around, claim, check out the staking pools, and all this jazz. A few people had reiterated similar feedback, so it seems like the DAppNode team is taking a look at that and implementing. I know both Marco and I'm seeing your latest comment this morning, Lauren, about the testnet for XDAI is girly, not XDAI. Maybe if we connect to that network, we'll be okay. But yeah, just some like UI things and mostly like design stuff feedback, it seems. And then like buttons that maybe if you don't have because of like whatever in your like connected to our wallets, we don't have the ability to actually like play with those buttons, feeling like they should be grayed out rather than like showing as an actual option and then showing us we can't do a whole lot with that. That's as far as I'm aware. Does anyone else have any DAppNode updates, anything that they've heard directly from the team, or any like more updated anticipation of how long it will take them to implement some of these things before launching?
I think, Lauren, you're more in the loop than I am.
Am I really? Because I can tell you what I know. I thought you might be more in the loop because you were in a meeting I didn't get to go to, I think, yesterday. But I don't know. Mitch and I did a bunch of testing on liquidity mining, found like kind of, a series of like different different like buggy things or errors or just like things that are a little bit weird. So I think they're still working on fixing that. Like the documentation and things it's like chugging along. Like Mitch and I had written like a post about announcing the DAO and announcing the token. And yeah, we're starting to work on like just documentation for like explaining things in their like DAppNode docs. Yeah, that's kind of where we at, but I haven't synced up with Lansky in like a few days, and I think, yeah, I would love to know. I don't know if you have any more updates than that, Griff, because I really was wanting to be in a meeting yesterday. I didn't get to.
Oh yeah, it was kind of early in the morning. Well, we just created this board. I don't think everyone has access to it, so I'll just share the screen with some of the issues, and if there's more issues to be made, that's great. But you know, we tried to, even though some of these fast follow issues are very are simple, we just took them out of scope, and we're hoping that these issues can be fixed. And then it looks like there's 2 more for implementing the quiz claim flow and that sort of thing. So we're hoping that this stuff can get out. They're still trying to launch. Like the token has been deployed. It's on, technically it's live. The liquidity mining hasn't started. But things are like, they want to click the button as soon as possible. I imagine that they're not going to sleep until it's out. Probably this weekend is my best guess. But still lots of testing, and if you can find any issues to make, you know, just say it in the chat, any problems that you have.
Cool, so they're still gonna launch tomorrow. Well, maybe not. Oh, you're on mute.
I imagine that they'll keep pushing, but I don't think it's, yeah. I imagine they'll probably launch in Paris.
Okay.
They're too optimistic on what can be done, and yeah. But that's because that's not what they say. They're launching Thursday.
I love the optimism though.
Yeah, it's motivating.
Yeah.
The TC's launching today, but probably tomorrow.
Awesome. Anything else around
No, I would just say check out that DAppNode channel. Play with it if you have a moment, and make any comments that you can.
Cool. Word. Let's ping this. Where is it? Here we go. Give design.
Mitch, great. Wow, you guys both, Mitch and Lauren, you guys did some great comments here. Thank you.
Yeah. We had a little party, Mitch and I. We had the Groovy bot, hung out for a couple hours.
Nice.
Awesome. So then under our Sprint 11 priorities, getting an update. First section is around design. So designing the Givebacks dashboard and UI UX. I've dropped a link to the notes from the design session with Marco at the top here. There's not a whole lot of notes, but there is this link to the Figma file where we can see the Giveback user flows. I think that everyone on the call here was on that call, but is there anything else that wants to be stated, or any like clear next steps? that we're aware, Marco and team are working on, or any like side conversations that have been going on in the last couple of days since we all met?
No, I don't have. Has there been any movement on design? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I don't think you were in that call, right, Griff, with team?
Oh.
No. Yeah, we had a meeting, and we walked through kind of like the airdrop flow and gave Tian a little bit more, and not just the airdrop flow, just sort of like the Give dashboard page where you're going to have the flame and the stream, and just sort of like talked about it, like iteratively coming up with like more ideas. And yeah, I'm not really sure if the stream can actually be broken down so that you can see where it's coming from, like in the smart contracts. I asked Amin, and he also had no idea. I don't know who might know. I also tagged Fabio, but because we were talking about doing that like stream breakdown thing where you got the you see your stream, and then you can make your stream get bigger by doing liquidity mining and other things, and then you can also click on the stream and be like, part of this comes from liquidity mining, part of it comes from the drop, part of it comes from givebacks and whatever.
Well, I don't think we can pull it off from the smart contract directly, but we should be able to use the graph. I assume the infrastructure that DAppNode deployed uses the graph. What I'd say is maybe we can do the design on that, but it's a fast follow. Yeah. Where we don't necessarily show them, at launch where it's coming from.
Okay.
But we should be able to, because in the end, what's happening is every time that they do it from liquidity mining, that's like there's a distributor for liquidity mining that's showing them, and then givebacks will be like. There'll be a distribution for that, and then there'll be the airdrop, and there'll be very distinct locations. So it should be very easy to trace, but it may not be as simple as like, look up this user and the data is there on the blockchain. It's more like record the history of movements that have ever happened and then aggregate that data for this user. So it'll be much more complicated than it would be if we had that plan in advance. But it's definitely doable, but probably shouldn't be in the scope of the first.
Okay.
Okay,
well that sounds good. Well, even like if we do it, we would just do it in kind of like a pop-up breakdown, so it makes sense it could be in fast follow. We don't need to have it there right away, and we could still show the stream.
Yeah.
It's like totally aggregated. Yeah.
And we should still do the design for it.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, so Tian was working on that, and then I also talked to Marco. We also talked to Marco in that meeting kind of just about the pieces of givebacks, but I think a lot of the design parts of givebacks are like done. We already have like the verified project badge, and I don't know, but I was going to go through the GitHub and just like see if there's anything there and just talk to Marco a little bit more. But that's kind of where we're at with design. Design, I think, is progressing, and I think Tian is still working on that like dashboard and things since our meeting, which is like on Monday or something. I don't even know what day.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed during that meeting is Marco seems to be a little like confused of what needs to be added for like givebacks UI UX stuff, which I think is just a bunch of small stuff within the application itself, like a button for a project to apply, or so it's just like those little small things, or like the little pop-up tool tips here and there that describe up to 75% back and those kind of things.
Yeah, it's hardly anything needs to be added for that. What we really need is a new page. We need like a page that shows the stats of givebacks, and like you got basically a giveback profile page where it's like someone can see their history of givebacks and what they have, and it's brand new. It's not like anything needs to be changed to the other ones. It's more that a user needs to be able to track their donations. maybe the user has a donation page and maybe that's what needs to change. Do we have like a donor page for Giveth where you can see all your...
I mean, you have under my donations, you do under your account.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, some of that will link in, but we also talked about within that dashboard, maybe having some places like where they can see, you know, how many tokens they have from givebacks and like, yeah, have that integrated within that UI. But we now have 12 projects with verified badge.
Nice. And the badge is up?
Yep. I think you can even sort by verified badge.
Oh, that's cool.
Amazing. So it sounds like we've got a lot of the design for givebacks done, other than making an issue for Marco to add like the stats of givebacks either to the pre-existing My Donations page or creating like a new givebacks profile page. Are there any other specific design requests that we have for Marco around givebacks?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think the My Donation page is probably like just that, or something around this profile page and giving it a highlights. I imagine that I really just I need to sit down with Marco and chat it out. And it'd be great if Lauren, if you were there, maybe we can do it if we're together in Europe.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, because I was thinking of the same thing, that what I'd like to do is like just think about givebacks and walk through our site and then like pick out all the places where I think that things should be and then talk about it with Marco.
Yeah.
I guess this is a related question. So we're gonna have givebacks also available to users on Trace. So does that mean like, are we gonna just have like one page where people see like their givebacks information and it's like universal and applies to both Trace and Giveth.io, or are we gonna need like kind of additional design work for both?
I think so. Honestly, I think it's easier to just kind of have, I feel like there should be a good separation of like donors use the IO and the projects use Trace. And like, so donors, if they are donating on Trace, like the IO page should show their givebacks and show their donations on Trace eventually. I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's going to take time to get there, right? You can't just, boom, total integration and all that. But in the long run, we definitely don't want people to have to track their givebacks in two places.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'd imagine we just, if we need to, we could add a link to IO to Trace that says, you got givebacks, go check it out on IO. Here's the link. You know?
That makes sense. But we still need like a little bit on Trace kind of saying like verified, eligible for givebacks, like it needs to have the badges. So there's like a tiny bit of extra design work, but not a lot.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Not a lot. And I still am hoping that all Traces, I'm sort of still on the understanding that 6 months from now, the only thing on Trace will be verified.
Yeah. That's true.
6 months from now, you know, in this in between period, we have to figure stuff out. But like,
but then in 6 months from now, we should have something on the page basically being like, all these projects are eligible for givebacks, or like people should understand that that's the case.
If they're donating, they should get a pop-up that says, "Hey, I mean, when you get when you click donate, you should get it in that pop-up. They should tell you we're gonna give you give tokens.
Yeah, and I think they were working on designing like a little pop-up tooltip, like hover thing for the badge. So when you like hover over the badge, it will tell you if that because this project's verified, you'll get give backs. This is kind of how it works. Learn more here. Or whatever.
Cool. There was talk about getting rid of these people, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the case. I actually asked Marco about that, and I was like, I thought we were getting rid of the people. He's like, yeah, ignore the people. We're just talking about like the general idea of like pop-ups and things.
Okay. Because also in the design Figma that I was just looking at, it had all the people.
Yeah, that's Tian made that, and yeah, I commented and asked Marco. But I think Tian was just like making it based on what there was.
Tian made that.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think he didn't really have the greatest idea of how everything worked whenever he was going into it. So this meeting that we had was kind of just explaining to him how it all works so that he could have a better understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he needs to start. I feel like that might have been a complete waste of his time. He should be starting with the dApp node designs and starting from that, because that's what we're going to have a whole front end that's based off of that, and we need to retrofit it to where we want. So using that as the base for the design is going to make everybody's life easier later.
Well, maybe we schedule another call soon for design.
Yeah. Yeah. For the dApp node airdrop thing. So the design like that they have like on their test UX stuff is kind of like what they're going with, right?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go ahead.
And that's so we're gonna. I mean, it's changing, of course. The design guy has a few things that he's trying to add and stuff, but that's the front end that we're going to start with. So if we're going to convert it, we change the colors there, add the people there, or whatever we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
But don't
add the people.
Yeah. The other thing is like, what do you guys, was there talk about like using explaining givebacks as a flow? Sorry, explaining the give stream as a flow versus number of tokens?
The give stream? Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have like the flow rate and like per day or whatever.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we had like an issue for Marco created that was kind of generic. Just, I think I had an assumption that he was having conversations and knew what we meant when I created an issue around him doing like the design work for Give Drop and Give Stream. But then he requested like us sharing really specifically like what's the scope of work and the intended outcome and output deliverables. So I just thought we could spend a moment talking about that here, like specifically like what do we want to request of the design team around the Give Stream stuff. We've just been talking about the Give Drop and Give Backs, but around Give Stream, other than this curiosity of like if it can be broken down and making that design piece of fast follow, are there other specific design requests we have for the Give Stream?
I think that until Marco and I and probably Lauren or anyone else who wants to sit in on a call together, until we do that, it wouldn't be right to tell him we need some kind of deliverable, because he really needs more of a breakdown of what's going on. Nelson, see. Hey, oh, perfect. Actually for you. Sorry. Listen to, I should have muted.
No worries. Okay, that sounds good. I can definitely set that up. Okay, anything else on design before we move to our next priority?
I know Ashley's been trying to hunt me down for some project verification. Is there a way we could do that for 5 minutes, Ashley? Is it like...
We could do that. I don't know that everybody needs to be involved, but I guess mainly I just need you to at least go through your the campaigns that you're the owner of and make sure that the color that I chose on that spreadsheet reflects it. I guess I could share it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the dark green is like ones that we know that are active and verified without really having to do much more exploration other than collecting wallet addresses. You can see the different checkboxes. The first one is like, by our current standards of verification, these projects are verifiable. Whether they're active in the last 6 months and maybe they already have a project on IO already that can be connected. So a lot of these haven't even been active in the last 6 months. The yellow shows the ones that could be archived. These light green ones are the ones that, like, I think could be verified if we decide to keep on using these campaigns, but with all the debates with the circles going on right now, I wasn't sure which campaigns would stay active and which ones would be archived. Like social coding, I imagine, would be archived. So you have quite a few in here that you're the owner of, and if you just like check to make sure, like, yes, this one can be archived. The blue is like ones that haven't been active for a while, so I'd like to talk with the owners and make sure that they're still, you know, going to be using them, and if they are, we can then verify them, and if not, then we can archive them. But a lot of them, like, there's some that haven't even been used in years.
Yeah.
But I guess just like going through and I just wanted your opinion mostly on whether I reflected that correctly, at least for the ones that you own.
Yeah, looks like everything's pretty good. I'm gonna change decentral at Burning Man at the end to light green.
Okay.
Because this was the first Burning Man camp.
Okay.
It's not like in general. Yeah, DAP node probably wants to be archived. Same with Bright ID. What does orange mean again?
Archive.
Okay, archive. And blue means?
Like, they're inactive, but could still be verified if they wanted to continue using them. I just wanted to talk to the owners, so I guess that's the other part, is some of these people, like you see Adria, Cara B, like some of these users I don't personally know to reach out to, but maybe you do, and you could connect me, or I can figure out their email through the database on Trace and try to contact them that way.
I'll see Adria tomorrow in person.
Okay. So maybe ask her if she wants to continue to use this campaign going forward.
Him. He I actually ran into him on the street this morning. Okay, I will send him a message right now. What do I need to ask him? Because I'm not going to remember.
If he wants to continue to use this campaign on Trace, or if they're done using it, if it's active or inactive. And I guess if he wants to continue to still use the campaign, like collect the wallet addresses that will be interacting with that campaign, and which address they want to use for their project on IO. Or if you give me the contact, I can always reach out for the wallet address.
So if he says yes, I want to keep it active, he needs to give me an address.
Yeah, an address to be used for IO, and then a list of addresses that would be interacting that we would then purple list.
I was like, what's purple list?
It's the purple list.
It's the record of addresses interacting with Trace campaigns. It's not a blacklist.
I like it.
So that's all I needed with that spreadsheet, was just those couple of things.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to talk through around project verification? On the Sprint 11 priorities update, I had collect addresses from projects using both Trace and IO that should not be eligible for givebacks, and then deposit to their project on Giveth Trace to manage their funds, then deposit should not be eligible for givebacks. Projects must provide these addresses to us. I'm assuming this is like then why you created that spreadsheet.
Yeah, so I'm still working on collecting the addresses, and then that like list of addresses that you're talking about is the purple list that we're referring to.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then the other thing I had on here was add to the verification form, please list all ETH addresses associated with your project that may deposit donations received elsewhere to your project on giveth.io or trace.giveth.io. Only donations from addresses not associated with your project are eligible for givebacks. So this is something that you're communicating to these folks as you're reaching out to them?
Yeah, that's just to add it to the type form so that the future projects will then have to provide that information that apply. That's just an additional question. Yeah.
Has that been added?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Emoji, check mark. Boom. Okay, amazing.
And just in like, just on that thing, like most people who are not like crypto savvy, I would just advise them, like, if you have money that's already yours that you want to manage on Trace, send it first to your donation address for IO, and then send it to Trace. If they do that, then it'll be very clear that they're not trying to scam us with givebacks in the giveback system. So I think it's a really easy advice to say, like, just manually send donations there. And then use that address to add them to Trace.
Okay.
Because I believe at least the way the spec was written for, and the way the graph works and everything, like, we'll only be tracking people who donate directly on Giveth.io. If they just send to the address, like if that QR code comes up and they use the QR code to send it, they won't get give back. They only get give backs if they click donate, and then we can grab that data that they click donate and actually do the math. If they have the QR code, or they just copy paste the address, or they saw the address on their website and just sent it to them, they don't get give back.
Yeah, I think right now just it states, are there any other ETH addresses other than your project wallet that are interacting or used for fund management within your project? Basically like this.
Yeah, and I'm just, exactly, I think that's perfect. Most people will be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And that's okay. The people who know what you're talking about will answer, right? Oh yeah, we store some ETH over here, we store some ETH over there, you know, like don't count those.
Right.
But yeah, so it's all good. Okay, guys, I really should run.
Thanks,
All right,
Chris.
well, thanks for going through that spreadsheet, and if I need contact for anybody, I'll hit you up.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Ciao. Okay, bueno. So other things here. One was to test app node drop and liquidity mining. We can cross that one out. Governance proposal to approve the latest liquidity mining parameters. I don't know that this is actually gone live. Let me check the forum. Proposals. Oh yeah, proposal for give mining. Cool. So I'll drop a link to that here. Let's see.
And then how long do those stay up before then they go to the DAO, you know?
Yeah, that was something that we talked about. Let me see. That was actually one of our, I thought that was also one of our sprint priorities, was to like discuss that in governance, which we did, and I can pull up the governance notes. I think what we decided is that I think we decided not to have a specific process, but to allow it to be a little bit fluid. And that governance meetings, let's see, open as page. Okay, what we decided was there's a 3-day minimum already built into the DAO. And then, yeah, what we decided on was 5 days in advice process. So having it live for 5 days on the forum, plus 3 days in voting on Aragon, gives 8 days for all time zones and meetings to have an opportunity to check out the proposal and object or approve. And so if you miss the advice process, the 5 days, well, then when you vote, then you're just encouraged to reject the proposal so that you can make adaptations to it.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Notes from governance meeting 7/12.
So then I guess that's the next step for Griff on that one too, is to then put up that proposal into the RGIV DAO.
Yeah. Posted to forum. Next step, post proposal to RGIV. Yeah, because it looks like in the forum, it's been here for 9 days. Yeah. 9 days ago. And yeah, received some comments from Mitch and Willie. Okay. And then schedule a hack session to sync on the give token allocation percentages. That meeting happened. Let me see if I can drop the notes from it. And then this roadmap diving into project curation, causes, donation matching, interest on idle donations. I just dropped the Notion link from that meeting. Lauren, I think you were on that meeting with Griff, Willie, and Mitch. I see that you guys dug into causes, project curation, and the interest generation. But for project curation, just kind of wrote it can be built off of the one Hive work. Oh wait, that's up at the top. So let me just move that part from the notes to the top. Was there anything that you feel like you guys didn't get to or need to have like a second, like a part 2 of this give road mapping call?
Well, we already had 2 actually. That was I don't know. There were 2. I think I just put the notes.
Okay.
I was sort of taking notes, but sometimes, yeah. Anyway, I took half-assed notes. But no, I don't think that we need to have another meeting on it. We just talked about the implementation of project curation and causes and how that might work, and then how can we generate funds for quadratic matching. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Cool.
I think I was sort of just more there listening and seeing what Willie and Griff were talking about. It was sort of just Willie and Griff. Mostly.
Yeah, I've joined a few of those kind of calls. So, because last that I had heard on these subjects was that we wouldn't be planning it out too intricately because largely the DAO would be making these decisions on what are the priorities. But I guess you guys were kind of brainstorming the shell or how these things could work so that if they're prioritized by the DAO, we're a few steps ahead.
Yeah, I think it's because we're sort of coming to a close on the things that we're currently designing right now for Give, and so it's what's coming after that.
I'm sad I missed those calls. When were they?
They were weird times. There was one at a 7 a.m. on last Monday or something, and then there was one. I streamed them all if you want to watch them. They're on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Live streams of these calls on YouTube transparency check. Okay, bueno. And then continuing to push gardens, Griff will work with Sam to deploy for TEC. We'll have an update at the next check-in. I don't know, Lauren, do you know the latest on this?
The deployment of the TEC, yeah. So for that, yeah, I think this is where Griff's head and energy is at today, because we're supposed to launch the hatch for the TEC today, but it might get pushed till tomorrow because of this impact hours discussion. Anyway, I think that after that, maybe that was why that was in there, because maybe after that Griff will start pushing more with gardens. But
okay, cool.
We're probably gonna hatch tomorrow, but Griff is pushing to hatch today for the TC. So
okay, I like how you're calling it hatch. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a big one to launch. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, so bring it up at the next. This is what we strike through. We already talked about the governance process stuff. And then the final priority that we have for this sprint is around dynamic issuance rate, which I have no idea the status on that. I think that was in Willie's comment on the to the Give mining on the forum. I think he discussed a bit about dynamic issuance rate, so I can go in there and see what he said. Proposals. Give mining. Oh no, he's talking about dynamic reward rate. I guess that's different.
I think that might be the same thing. Oh no, that's just the issuing the rewards. The issuance would be the stream.
Getting clear on this stream calculations.
That's what I take from that, but I'm not super clear.
Yeah.
If I were to give you my best guess, that would be it.
Thanks, Ashley. Okay, I'll get more clear on this. Okay, well, we got through all the priorities, have some clear next steps, which I'll make sure that I go through and highlight and follow up and make GitHub issues and message all the peoples. Anything else that hasn't been spoken around Give token that we would like to track?
I know we've been working on some like GIV documentation, but that's definitely more calm stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be in this format. What else? I think that's the only thing I could really think of.
Cool. And speaking of comms, do we want to use our later comms time this morning at 10? Like, do we want to have any time at the beginning for just kind of reviewing the trace launch and any like cross promotional kind of stuff, and then go into like a normal comms meeting after that? Or how would you guys like to use the time?
That sounds good. I think that would be really nice to just discuss a little bit like how that went and if we want to keep, what we want to do to increase attention.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I will give you guys 5 minutes back into your day.
Yay!
Nice.
Thanks, Forrest.